This conference
But
will now be
primarily here,
recorded.
it is like a more of a from the SAP point of view, you have the project management, everything is being done through the system itself.
Yeah. So
Right.
this is tightly integrated system. To understand the one module, we need to understand the integration part. That is very important here.
Sure, Rama. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So here, our today's agenda to understand SAP project types. Okay, that we have already covered in our previous session. SAP implementation methodologies. Okay, SAP PS project system overview and system hands-on. So again, that point is same. We will try to cover at least two major point here. Understand SAP project types and SAP implementation methodologies. Okay. Then
Sure.
this is the same reference of the books and assignment. So when basically how many types of project of SAP we are having means, see, the type of projects perspective to your project system, it is a different. But when you are going for any SAP project, what type of project it will be, whether it is an implementation or an enhancement or a rollout or a upgrade. Okay, so we need to understand that part first. Okay, so what happened, let me put it here in my words. First is a SAP, I'm saying here SAP project types. Okay, so the first type of project is SAP implementation project. So in this case, the client, the customer will require to implement SAP from the scratch. Okay, it may be module wise, or it may be, let's say they have given all the requirement all together to us, and as per their business process we need to implement SAP. So in this particular project, it may require to include your all infrastructure, your product, and SAP implementation approach. Okay, so all these things will be included. Sometimes what happen, let's say any client already they have implemented the SAP. Okay, so but later on a later stage they have extended their business in some area. In that case, they may require to implement a new module. Okay, let's say if you see the CPM, right? If they have already using project system, but when they are coming to, when they are getting all the information of CPM, they may require to implement CPM individually. Okay, so we can have the SAP implementation project full-fledged end-to-end in one go, or we can go in bits and pieces as per the module's requirement, as per the business strategy. Okay, another project is SAP upgrade. Okay, so in this type of project we used to upgrade the version of SAP. So current version of SAP is S4 HANA, which is widely being used now, S4 HANA 1909. Okay, and how exactly we reached to 1909 S4 HANA? Earlier it was ECC. We used to call the product name as ECC. It was 4.7. I'm not going before that 4.7. We were having some more versions, but it's okay to understand from ECC 4.7 onwards. Okay, and after that we had ECC 5.0 only for short period of time.
This S4 HANA is also a on-premises, or it's a cloud base?
It is both approach we can use.
Okay, so S4 HANA is also both is cloud based and on-premises. Yeah. Okay.
So here ECC 4.7, ECC 5.0, and after that came ECC 6.0. Okay, 6.0. So till here, till 5.0, we were accessing all the SAP transactions through SAP GUI, graphical user interface. You remember earlier I have shown you one screen, normal screen. First in logon pad we need to log in and then we can go into one screen. So that was the
Yep.
typical screen. We were not able to access any transaction directly in NetWeaver.
Mhm.
Okay, so it was restricted to execute any transaction through transaction code. Okay, then SAP came up with some changes and they introduced the ECC 6.0 and we started to call it as a my SAP. Okay, and here from this version onwards we have started to get some transactions directly in NetWeaver. Okay, so it was easy to use because the users were able to access the transaction through their portal in NetWeaver Business Client. After that, in SAP ECC 6.0 itself, SAP introduced some enhancement packages. Okay, so we used to call it as a EHP enhancement package, EHP1, EHP2, EHP3, likewise EHP4. So in all EHP, in all the enhancement packages, they have added more functionality in different modules. Okay, so this EHP, this all enhancement package was not restricted to one module. I would not say only whatever the changes they have in a specific module. Okay, it was almost in all the modules whatever we are having in the SAP. For example, in project system earlier we did not have any access control earlier. Now they have introduced another functionality of access control. I'll explain in detail and later on. So here they came up with a different enhancement packages till EHP 8. Okay, so this was the last enhancement package, EHP 8. I'm seeing here EHP 4, EHP 3, EHP 1,
Mhm.
EHP 2, EHP
Yep.
2.
Yep. I got it. I got it. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, after EHP 8, okay, till here SAP were using database as a Oracle or some other database. For example, if I'll explain it in my words, how exactly it was working. Uh, you are having your SAP product, your product here, SAP, okay, SAP ECC. And in backend, we were having one database, okay. And this database was, let's say, Oracle or some other database. But our SAP product was here and we were saving all data directly into this database. Okay, so we were having some limitations because this is a Oracle product and this is a SAP product. Okay, so whatever data we were getting it from this database, it was based on the tables, right? Everything we have to save directly in database. Here in SAP ECC, we were having here application layer, where we were doing the transaction. We are doing the transaction. All transaction will be accessed through this application layer. Then it will be accessed through SAP ECC. Then SAP ECC was getting all the data from database from third party, we can say, because it was not SAP database, right? So whenever basis team, administrator team, they were installing the system, first they were installing this ECC, then database, then they were connecting it, then they were providing access to execute the transactions. Okay, now to reduce this hurdle, because we were getting lots of limitations in this and speed was also not as expected, okay, and lots of changes happen in different modules, then SAP came up with its own database called HANA. Okay, so they have removed this part here and they have changed it to HANA, and we have started to call it as a HANA, S4 HANA. Okay, I'll let you know what is the meaning of S4 HANA and all in my upcoming sessions.
Sure.
Okay, so here now we don't have Oracle. there is no third-party database. SAP is having its own database, and we are having much flexibility to extract the data from HANA because it's our own database, right? After that, within this HANA, they have included so many additional things. Like they came up with lots of apps, Fury apps here.
Okay, I have a question here, Rama.
Yeah.
See, when it's an on-premises solution, whether it's an HANA or whether it's an Oracle DB, so what would be the difference? Because it's an on-premises, right? So,
See, on premises means on premises means this will be in this will be on the side like the customer's location, right? If it
yes,
is a cloud, it will be at one location, everything will be there,
yes,
and then the access will be provided to the different clients. Okay. So if it is
got it.
on premises, we are having more. See, already SAP is very robust product. Okay. Apart from that, the security is very high. Apart from that, now due to this S4 HANA, there are lots of more functionality came up. Okay. And apart from that, speed is also too high now. Okay.
Mhm,
So when you are moving into HANA, when you are moving to S4 HANA, in that case, HANA database has to be there.
mhm,
It's compulsory.
mhm,
You cannot get it, you cannot go with the Oracle. Okay.
mhm,
So here HANA is a database and S4 HANA is complete solution here. Whatever we are having the changes in different modules. We are having project system, we are having FI, we are having MMSD, all these modules. So some additional functionality is also introduced, and apart from that, table structure when the data is saving in my database, that is also changed.
mhm,
Okay, and apart from that, we are having a different version in S4 HANA also. Okay,
mhm,
so S4 HANA, when it was introduced, I think it was 1609, I think 2006. I don't remember exactly the date. So as per the year or and as per the month, they have given the name. Okay, so most of the changes they came up in 1709. So 9 months and 2017 they've introduced
mhm,
it, and after that another version they came up in 1809. Okay,
mhm.
2018 in September month. Then again they have came up with new changes in 1909. Okay, so this is the latest version 1909. There is very
Okay.
slightly changes in between of 1809 and 1909. Okay, with perspective to
Mhm.
our CPM, no changes. Okay, only few basis activity they have reduced, and apart from that, they have apart from that there is no changes, and some additional Fury also they have added, but no changes
So
here in the functionality.
will customers be automatically upgraded to 1909 with free of cost, or they have to pay for the upgrades?
Uh, Actually, that is a licensing part. Basically, it's depend how what type of customer it is. If it is a platinum, in some of cases, it is automatically updated.
Okay, okay.
Automatically
Yeah,
means
understand. The
like
one
they are
is
not
as far
charging
as
for it.
they are having an active support. I think the license, the upgrades keep coming in Oracle. That's what which I've seen in Oracle. So I'm not sure how it works in SAP
In
because
SAP,
yearly they
it is
also
it
go.
is it is not like this. In SAP, it's very much costly, and for each points they are having each places, each steps they are having their licensing strategies, and it is different as per the client also. Sometimes for platinum client, they're having golden client. So as per their band, they're treating for the licensing perspective.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So even we are having the license of S4 HANA 190. It doesn't mean we are having the license of CPM system directly. No,
Mhm,
because S4 HANA 1909 is for base modules, your basic modules means FI, CU, your MM, PS, PM, whatever we are having in our core
mhm.
system. That is the license for that. But if we are going for any additional module, in that case, the customer has to pay separately. SAP sometimes to their platinum consultant, they are having bundle of licenses. Okay, they are not going with individual module wise. They are charging everything as a bundle. Like you take anything, okay, this will be the charge. So whether you are using it or not, they will include everything. Later on, later stage, if you want to implement, you can implement that one also.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm coming back to the same point here. I was explaining SAP upgrade. So it means when we are going from one version to another version, we need to upgrade. Earlier, we were having lots of changes. And here in S4HANA, if you are moving from 1709 to 1809, there are very slightly changes. From 1809 to 1909, it's very less changes. But when you are moving from ECC, from your Oracle database, from your old system ECC to your S4HANA, it's very huge changes because your database will be changed. In place of Oracle, you need to have the HANA database. And apart from that, your all functionality, your table, your everything, almost like in all the touching modules, there are various changes and it has to be taken care.
Yeah, basically it is called a migrations because people do a migrations from SAP to HANA, right?
Yes, you can say it's a migration or you can say it's a upgrade project.
Okay.
Okay. And next kind of project is a rollout project. Okay. 1 second.
But still SAP is supporting the SAP, the Oracle DB also, right? They still
Yes, they are
for the
supporting.
custom.
They are supporting.
Okay.
But
So
they are having target.
why can't they make it mandatory so that everyone moves to HANA so that their support will become more easier because now they have to support Oracle DB and these customers. So that like in one shot they can actually start migrating the people
They have
if they give
already
that
decided.
opportunity.
See, they have already decided till 2025, I think. Till
Mhm.
2025, everybody has to move to HANA.
Oh,
Okay.
by 25. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, why they are not giving in one shot? Because SAP products are very costly. Okay. The
Yeah.
organization has to decide whether they want to move it as of now or in later stage. They are not forcing directly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here, if we see, we are having SAP implementation project and we are having SAP upgrade. Similarly,
Okay.
we are having SAP rollout project also.
Mhm.
In SAP rollout project, just consider you are having multiple companies in your organization. Okay, let's say I'll take one example. You are in manufacturing of some mobile. Okay, so in
Mhm.
that case, your controlling area, your group of companies is the same, but your different legal companies are working in a different countries. Okay, so in that case, you can have the implementation in one company code first. Okay, once it is completed, once it is going smoothly, then you can roll out. You can go for the same solution in different companies also. So
Mhm. No, okay.
process is already freezed. The steps are already freezed. Only your some master data will be changed as per
Mhm.
their country perspective, their country requirement. Let's say your tax in India it's different from US. So if you are having the
It's
similar kind
called
of process,
localizations. It's called
yes.
localizations. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes we are having a different combinations here for different type of projects. Let's say this SAP implementation upgrade and SAP rollout project. In these cases, okay. So what happened rollout? Oh, okay. Well, 1 second. So what happened in these cases? Different ID companies having their different approach to execute this kind of project. Let's say if you are having one project in US, okay. So we are having steps. Let's say my team is sitting in India. So they used to have an approach to reduce the cost. Okay, I'll explain in my next slide is how we can have the different combination and different stages we can analyze the requirement of business. So majorly these are the three types of project. We are having enhancement project also sometimes. let's say some enhancement is required in project, with whatever the processes we are covering here. Okay, these steps are, you can say, the transactions level details are given in standard SAP. But if it is not available, in that case, you have to go for the enhancement. Your solution, it has to be provided. For
Okay. So
example,
if
yeah,
I understand the difference between the implementation SAP upgrade and the rollout project, so like in simple, like implementation is completely a new project, is that right?
right, correct.
Okay, so the upgrade is nothing but like someone who is actually has gone that year, the older ones, the versions where they're in the SAP 1909 or 1800. Is that the kind? Is that
Correct.
called as an upgrade? Okay, and rollout project?
Yes, yes. So rollout project is in different. You have already implemented one process in
Mm-hmm.
one company. Same you can roll out. Same you can copy into new company.
Okay, so for people who is actually buying an SAP license now, so they would
Mhm.
straight away go with the HANA. So you can still that can still be fall. I mean that can still fall under SAP implementation project, right?
Definitely, they will directly
So
be. Let's say for new project, it will come directly with SAP implementation project in S4 HANA latest version 1909. They
okay,
cannot
so
buy
there is no need.
1809.
Yes, so there is no need for an upgrade, right? In their cases,
No,
unless you have a new version which comes in the
right.
later point.
Correct,
Right?
correct, correct.
So, but upgrades from 18 or 19, so there is not major. It's just a very, I mean, I
Few
think
changes.
they're minute, right? Yeah, there are
Yeah,
few changes.
few changes.
Okay.
Okay. So now let us move to the next topic here. That is the SAP implementation methodology. Okay. When
Mm-hmm.
we are going for any SAP implementation, okay, what approach, what methodologies you need to follow? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you can see in different kind of projects, we are having a different phases. Let's say if it's a construction. So first of all, the initiation. In initiation, we are getting the approval and all. Then we are going for the planning. Then we are going for execution, then monitoring and controlling, and then finally we are going for the closure. So this is the typical phases of any project. But
Mm-hmm.
in SAP, how we used to follow these steps here. Okay. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah,
SAP.
yeah, I can still see the screen, the three types of project screen. So I
Okay.
cannot see
Yes.
the, yeah,
SAP
now I see the
implement.
implementation methodologies.
Yeah. So here we used to call it as a ASAP. One second, please. Okay. So ASAP means here accelerated SAP. So
Mm-hmm.
when we are going for any SAP implementation, we used to have 5 phases. Okay, major 5 phases here. Okay, so first is requirement gathering or requirement collection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and second is BBP, business blueprint preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Third is realization. Fourth is final preparation,
Mm-hmm.
and fifth is go live and support. Okay, I did not include a support project in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll explain here what is the meaning of go live support here. So here,
Sure.
let me add here one more support projects. Support project means already SAP is implemented and you need to provide the support. If any new changes are coming in the system,
Mm-hmm.
in the existing system, okay, just you need to provide a support. Or if business is getting any issue, in that case, you need to
Yeah.
provide a support.
Basically,
That's it.
enhancements or any issues. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, correct. So here, when we are going for any implementation, again, the requirement collection. First, the entire team is on board. In that case, they have to have their checklist in their hand, what they are going to discuss with the business. What is their task exactly which we need to execute at project site. Okay. So
Mhm.
first phase is called requirement collection. So as a consultant, first we need to understand the existing system. Okay. In legacy system, how they are doing. For
Mhm.
example, if they are not using any IT system in Excel itself, in Word, whatever the system they are following, we need to understand that. Okay. So this is the phase where we are understanding the requirement. Okay. First of all, understand the requirement. And then we are understanding their forms, their reports, how they are reporting to the management, whatever the workflows. Let's say if they are not having any system to send their workflows in through mail, in which at which stage they are communicating to the different management levels, different stakeholders involvement. So to everything in all the perspective, we need to study the system here. Okay.
Mhm.
So once we have completed the study here, we used to prepare one document called as is document here,
Mhm.
as is document. Generally, it should be prepared by business. As is means whatever they are having as per their existing, they need to mention all the steps, all the transactions there. Okay. By understanding the same as is document, the consultant has to prepare to be document. To be document means if I'm going with the standard approach in SAP, what would be my solution in SAP? Okay, so some idea. It's not exactly the final solution. It is a to be. Your system can be like this. So in this document, we will have the detailed understanding of the module, whatever the objects you are going to be used.
Mhm.
Okay, the business process steps which you are going to follow as per as is document. So you need to map each step here. You need to
Mhm.
write a complete thesis. Okay, all the steps. If I'm getting any application, this person responsible, let's say the manager has to take in it, he has to create the document in the system, then it will go for the approval, then this field will become a mandatory. So everything has to be mentioned in to be document. Okay, it will not be final document, it will not be more detailed document, but it will have at least the understanding how we are going to implement the same solution as per as is in my to be system. Okay, so
Okay.
once this phase is closed, okay, so this phase, once this phase is closed, we will move to the BBP, business blueprint document. This is the document which we need to prepare as a consultant. We need to prepare here. In the same document, we need to mention all the process flows. Okay, we have
Mhm.
to include all the stakeholders. We need to explain the process flow, all the process steps in detail. Okay, forms, report, everything, it has to be mentioned in this document. And we have to take the approval from the business that this is going to be your system. Now you need to approve it before starting to doing any changes in your real system. So here we used to show some showcases to the business, sometimes demos, multiple demos. Okay, but we will not do any changes, no customization, no report, no custom reports, no custom forms. Whatever we are having in a standard system, only we will try to correlate as per their as is document. Okay,
Mhm.
so here business blueprint is your like it has to be signed by all the stakeholders. Stakeholders means the responsible people. I'm not saying all stakeholders, but who is directly interacting in that business process. They have
Mhm.
to sign this document.
Mhm.
Okay. So once this document is signed, then we will move to the realization phase. So realization phase, you need to log in into your system now and do the customization, do the basis settings. So here in realization, we are having different things. First of all, we used to call it the baseline configuration. Means your standard, as per standard deliverable, you will get some settings. You need to do customer specific settings there. Okay, which is mandatory. Without that, you cannot execute your any transaction in the system. So at least the baseline configuration has to be done by functional consultant. Okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
here it has to be, let's say if any enhancement there, so development like the web programming, programming, workflow, all these things has to be developed here. Okay, so you are having your all functional setting in the system, you are having enhancement in place. Now you need to do some testing. We are having a different kind of testing here. First is a, let's say, unit testing. Okay, in unit testing within a module, let's say if you are going for CPM, you need to do all the steps, you need to complete all the steps in the process within a module. We will not check any integration with the other module, only within module we need to test it. So internally it has to be done by consultant unit testing. And once unit testing is done, then we will go for the integration testing.
Mm-hmm.
In integration testing, all the modules people has to be ready. Let's say in my case, PS consultant, MM consultant, material management, SD, sales and distribution consultant, FI. So everything has to be ready with their business processes. They have already done their unit testing, but these all people will come at one place and will do the integration testing, where they need to perform all the transaction in a step. Okay, and then they will check the entire process whether it's working fine. If they are facing any issues, any error, they have to rectify it, and then they have to come back again for another round of integration testing. So this is again internal. We are not directly showing this integration testing to my clients,
Mm-hmm.
customers. Once it is done, then we will move to the final preparation.
Okay,
Okay.
in the okay, there is a few questions here. So
Yeah.
in the blueprint, you said there's a forms and all, right? So is this forms like where there is a templates in SAP where we need to use those templates, something like that?
Yes.
Or
Yes, we are having. We are having.
okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's say if it is not available in a standard system, whatever you have committed here in BVP, it has to be realized in your realization phase. Okay, let's say the business is requiring some required some report, okay, which is nowhere available in SAP. In that case, the same report has to be developed in realization phase as per requirement of business. So this is the things we are doing here in development phase.
Okay, so by default, when you actually install the SAP, so you get certain screens, fields, I mean the standard screens and all, something like that. So
Yeah,
we customize that. Do we get those standard ones?
yeah, we will get it a standard one.
Okay.
We will
So
get a
from there
standard
we
one, but
okay.
if it is not fitting as per my business requirement, then we need to
Yeah.
change it all.
Sure. Okay. So is there anything like a verticals here, like to specific domains, like for manufacturing, they have a specific vertical, for healthcare, they have a different vertical, for retail, they have a different vertical. Do they come with that kind of a vertical so that they use
And
those terminologies and all, right? What they use in the manufacturing or
yes,
healthcare, or I mean, does
yes.
it come something like that?
Yes, yes, it is coming, but actually, again, I'm saying, let's say if it is a project, and if you are doing it within a project system, so it means your common understanding with reference to your standard SAP project system will be applicable. It is not. I'm not going to say the project builder as something else in health and healthcare. Okay, if it is an R&D project also, if it is a pharma or if it is a manufacturing, my project builder will remain my project builder only. But how I'm getting the data here, the different data, how you want to see the tabs, the fields, that we can change. Okay, how we are having some best practices also. Some SAP already provided some best practice which we can follow as per the industry. Okay.
Yeah.
So till here it is clear, right? IT
Yeah.
integration testing and all these things happen. Now we need to move into final preparation. Okay, so
Mhm.
here in the final preparation, first of all, the consultant has to prepare the user manual. Okay, so user manual, all the process screen has to be captured in a sequence to help the business user who are going to use the system. Okay,
Mhm.
once it is ready, then we need to go for UAT. We used to call it as a user acceptance testing. So here we have already provided some basic training to user, then they will test it here in UAT step, user acceptance testing. So we will have some layouts, we will give them some document steps, like already steps will be mentioned, everything will be mentioned in the document. They have to follow the each script to complete the testing, and once it is done, they have to sign. They have to confirm that this process is working fine. If they are facing an issue, anything, then they can report it in that document and it will be submitted to the management. Then it has to be analyzed. Then consultant has to rectify all these issues. After that, we will go for another round of UAT. Until unless it is not get rectified, we have to go for multiple round of UATs here. So sometimes it used to have the 3 round or 4 round or 2 round. It's depend how big your project is or how you have decided in your contract. Okay.
Okay.
So once user acceptance is done, generally UAT is done by the business process owner. After
Yep.
that, we need to go for the user training. Okay. User training here, consultant has to give the trainings to users and users. Sometimes the core user also involved. Core user means your business process user also provide this training. Okay, let's say if you are
So
having,
the training is provided after the UAT because
yeah,
for users to know the system, they should go through the training. Then
yeah.
UAT
See,
would be in place.
whenever we are going for any SAP implementation, first of all, here in this case, team will be decided. Okay,
Mhm.
what team will be there from the business side? We used to call it as a core user.
Yeah.
In this core user, all business process owner who are having the good experience in business, they used to be there in this team. So we will start to provide the training from this stage itself. We will get it, them familiarized about the project, or sorry, about the SAP. Whatever I'm explaining, like same way we used to explain them, then we used to go for hands-on training and requirement collection itself. Sometimes in BVP we are going in detail. Okay, and coming to
Mhm.
realization, they are very expert to execute the transaction, to understand the system, everything. Till here they are okay. They are only completing this UAT, unit testing. Okay, here in the final preparation, they are only doing this testing, not exactly the end user. So they have already
Yep.
experience of SAP system, because generally any SAP, any big organization, they used to have 1 year, 1.5 year of project of SAP implementation. So after
Yep.
4 5 months, they will become experts. Sometimes I have seen some users, by the time when you are reaching to the go live, they are working like a consultant.
True.
because
Yeah, it's the
because
same case even if you take us now, right? So we're hardly going with the 30, 40 hours or maybe whatever is needed, that kind of a training, which doesn't go for a year also, right? So which can
Right,
easily get completed if you're going even the regular training, like usually it is like 3 or something like that. So you
right,
can easily complete that, right?
correct. And here they are interacting on daily basis with the consultant.
Yeah,
When
unless
when we
they're
are,
like kind of an end user, someone who is from the non-technical background, or like I think they don't really get involved into it, basically, right?
yes, generally, how we are choosing this team, the person should not be on very higher position, because he will not able to devote the time. Okay, and we are not taking any person who's working on elementary level, only some business. If he's only creating some purchase equation, that's it. If he doesn't have any idea, then better not to select and cool team. So when you are selecting the
Mm.
core team also, you need to understand their profiles. You need to, if it is not suitable, you can recommend to your customer also that we need some person like this. Okay, if he is having some IT experience, some understanding of, let's say, data, understanding the business process, understanding the system, how it used to. Let's say if the person is very old. I have seen in some organization long back, I have done one implementation in construction industry. Then all people were very like around of 55 years, 40, 54, more than 50 years. Okay, so they were very they were very uneasy to work with the system. Okay, whenever we
Mm.
were asking for anything, they were not able
I've
to
seen.
navigate.
I'm facing the same scenario in my one of the Oracle implementation because when we are actually trying to push the users for the UAT, they're still
Yeah,
not ready because they still don't know, like, though they're experts in their domain, right?
yeah,
In
yeah,
HRM or in SEM, still
yeah.
they're not able to accept the change management, and
Correct,
they have a lot of frustrations. So
correct.
we're having a big challenge to push them into it.
So sometimes when see when we are selecting the team, core team, we are recommending to the customer dedicated team. If the people
Hmm.
are working in a business side and again in the IT side, it is very difficult to put their efforts. So better to select 100% core team. Generally, if it is not
Yeah.
100%, generally I have seen the project is not successful as it is expected. Okay.
Yeah.
So here core team, they will complete the UAT here, then we'll go for the user training. So this core team will start to train the people here in end user, sorry, in the user training step. Now we will ask here in realization phase itself, we will ask to the core user to provide the data which we need to upload. If there is no data, this step will not be there in the project. Data means like
Hmm.
whatever the project you are doing now, okay, all details,
Or any of the
whatever.
legacy
Yeah,
system data,
yeah, yeah.
or
So we used to call it as a data, data upload, okay, data migration, okay. So here you will have some templates as per your business transaction. You need to give it to your core user, then they will collect the data from the end users, and then they will keep it in the proper template, and then it will come to the consultant to upload the data. Once everything is ready here, okay, this data upload, and this will be verified by the core user also whether the whatever the data is being uploaded, it is correct or not. Okay, then we will have here blackout period. So let's say you have decided here go live date. Okay, in between of final preparation and the go live support, go live date, you will have blackout period. Okay, in that period you need to have all the transactions separately, and you need to upload directly data into your production client. Okay, so once all the changes has been transported into your production system, and then all master data is transported into your production system, then system will be go live on a particular date. Okay, once it is a go live, then business will start to work on it. Okay, so these are the steps here. Then from after go live, your support will start. In support, initially when it is an implementation project, generally the end user face lots of problem to access the system. Sometimes they are asking for the help to execute the transactions. Sometimes they are asking help to understand the logic because these are the end user, they need to understand the system. And slowly, you will get less issues from the business side, and then your system will start to become more stable. So this is the complete project life cycle of any SAP implementation project. Okay, so here in this step, what I'll do, I'll share the BVP, that is a template BVP, to understand what exactly what steps we used to have in any BVP. Okay, I'll make you understand here UT. the document template, how we can prepare the UT document, IT integration document. Apart from that, UAT document. Okay, user manual, I think you already know that, because user manual, simple thing, just process steps has to be captured in the screens. Okay, then data upload, migration, how you need to migrate the data, whatever the templates, what kind of template you can use. So these details I'll provide you, like 2 or 3 sessions I'll take it separately. So I'll give you some more details about all these areas.
Sure.
Okay, so any other question here?
No, I think we could.
Yeah. So here, this is a ASAP methodology. Now, new methodology is agile methodology. Okay, agile methodology generally we use where SAP is already implemented. Okay, and we are going to introduce a new module. Okay, let's say SAP PS is already implemented, and CPM you are going for implementation. So in that case, you can go in the steps. So you have done some changes, you transport it to production, let it be used. If you are facing an issue, then again you rectified it, and then again second lot, you again transport a new component changes. So all these things you can go. So agile, how we are using in different software implementation, similarly we can do here also in SAP. But
Mhm,
ASAP methodology is specifically for SAP, and it's a very successful approach here in SAP implementation.
mhm.
Okay, so it's okay for today. I think we can close it now. Okay, next session. If you have any question before going to start CPM core, you just let me know. If it is okay, I'll take 2 or 3 more sessions in the project system. Then I'll come back to the CPM. Okay.
Sure, sure. So today today we have covered the types of projects and the methodologies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're also thinking to cover on the project system overview. So that's something we'll cover it.
I'll show you the screens, how you can create a project, what are the meaning of project definition, work breakdown structure, how you can create activities, how you can schedule a project. Simple understanding, because the same thing we are going to use in CPM. So when I'm explaining in CPM, there should not be any gap to understand that. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm stopping recording for today. Stop.